That was close.
doing?
Is everybody all right? Come back again soon for another challenge. Goodbye.
Hey y'all. OMG. It's a new week, y'all. A brand new week. Thank you, Jesus. We done got it. We done made it another week. Y'all, I got story time again. It was a regular Tuesday. Or maybe a Wednesday. Honestly, the days blur. Turn my phone on. The days blur together when you work in retail, okay? I was at my register doing my job, minding my business, when the woman came up with a bottle of lemon juice. $1.50. That was the price. It was always $1.50. The tag said $1.50. The system said $1.50. I didn't set the price. I don't own the store. I am a person standing behind the register getting paid to scan things. She said it should be $1.25. I told her kindly as I could, it's $1.50, ma'am. And then this woman, this grown woman, cursed me out over 25 cents over lemon juice in front of the other customers, in front of my coworkers, in front of everybody. Just let me have it. Like, I had personally offended her entire bloodline by charging her the actual price of the product. And I had to stand there and take it. That's the part nobody talks about. That's the part that doesn't show up on the job description. You don't just clock in and scan items. You clock in and hand somebody else the power to treat you however they want. And your job is to smile and say, I'm sorry for the inconvenience, and mean it. Or at least look like you mean it. Because if you don't, you're the problem. I went on my break and I sat in the back because, y'all, I was so angry. Not even just at her, at the whole situation. At the fact that I needed my job. At the fact that I couldn't say what I actually wanted to say. At the fact that my peace, my dignity, my whole afternoon, all of it was hostage to a job that was paying me just enough to keep me coming back, but not enough to actually feel free. That's a Pacific kind of trapped. When you can't leave because you need the money, but staying is costing you something too. Clip that. Not just time, something deeper. Your sense of self, your trust in your own gut that keeps saying, this is not it. This is not all that there is for you. I knew that day, not for the first time, but maybe for the first time, I really let myself feel it, that I needed options, not a fantasy, not some lottery ticket dream, actual, real options. Something I was building on the side that meant someday, on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, when somebody tried to make me the villain of their own lemon juice story, I could have a choice about what happened next. That's what this is really about. Not the money, though the money matters. It's about never having just to stand there and take it again. It's about building something that gives you a say. If you ever sit at a register or a front desk or a drive-through window and swallowed something that should have been said, this is for you. Keep watching. I want to ask you something, and I want you to actually think about it. Okay? If something went wrong for you today, not a bad day, I actually mean something actually went wrong. A landlord threatening eviction, a car accident, somebody at work treating you in a way that crossed the line, who would you call? Most of us would call our mom, our best friend, or we sit with it hoping it worked itself out. Because calling an actual lawyer, that's not even on the table. That feels like something other people do. People with money, people with connections, people whose parents already knew how the system worked and passed that knowledge down. Clip that. The rest of us just figure it out, or we don't figure it out, and it costs us. Here's what I keep coming back to. Between 54 and 66% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck right now. More than half. And most of the people, those people, if something legally complicated happened to them tomorrow, we would absolutely have nowhere to turn that they could actually afford. That is not bad luck. That is an access problem. Legal protection in this country has always been expensive, which means it has always been for a certain kind of person. And quietly, without anybody making an announcement about it, everybody else just leaned to go without it. We lean to avoid the problem. We learn to settle. We learn to let things go that we probably shouldn't have let go because fighting back felt like it required resources we didn't have. I think about the women I'm talking to right now. Women in customer service, in retail, in hospitality, women who are sharp and capable of working hard and still coming up short at the end of the month. Clip that. Women who have had to make peace with less, not because they wanted to, but because they didn't see another way. That settling just doesn't happen with money. It happens inside of you. You start guessing, second guessing yourself. You start shrinking. You start making decisions from a place of fear instead of a place of knowing you have something behind you. And that's what Legal Shield is really trying to fix. Not just the legal access problem, though that matters enormously, the deeper thing, the feeling of having nobody in your corner, the feeling of being on your own when something gets complicated. Because when you know you have access to someone who can help you, a real attorney on the phone for your actual situation, something shifts. You stop avoiding, you stop settling, you start moving through your life differently because you know you have backup. That's not a product feature. That's a different relationship with yourself. Okay. And when I talk about building this business, that's the thing I'm building toward. not just extra income, though we are absolutely going to talk about that. I'm talking about being a part of something that says everybody deserves options with backup, not just the people who were already set up to win. That's the mission. That's why this is bigger than a side gig. And that's why I'm still here 8 months in talking to you live on a live instead of just clocking in somewhere and going home. Something in this felt like it was for me to carry. And I think some of you watching right now feel the same way. Okay, so let me tell you about what Legal Shield actually is. Because I think a lot of people hear legal plan and immediately think it's either too complicated or it's too expensive. So let me just break down what you actually get. There are 3 things I want to highlight specifically. The first one is unlimited phone consultations. You can call your provider law firm as many times as you need to for any question, big or small. Is my landlord allowed to do this? Call. My job is asking me to sign something. I don't understand it. Call. I got into a fender bender and I didn't know what to do next. Call. You're not being billed by the hour. You're not afraid to ask a follow-up question because you know the meter is running. You just call and you get an actual licensed attorney who tells you what your options are. That peace of mind alone, just knowing you can pick up the phone, changes how you move through situations that used to feel scary. The second one is document review, because if somebody hands you something to sign, a lease, a contract, anything, you can send it to your provider law firm and they will actually read it and tell you what it says and whether there's anything in there you should be concerned about. Think about how many people have signed things they don't fully understand because they don't have anyone to ask. They didn't have anyone to ask, okay? I have done that. Many of us have done that. This is the thing that stops that from happening. The third one is letters on your behalf. This one is underrated. I think you need to hear it. If someone is giving you a problem, a debt collector, a landlord, an employer, whoever, your provider law firm can write a letter on your behalf on attorney letterhead. There's a difference between a strongly worded text from you and a letter from your law firm. People respond differently. So situations resolve differently because now there's a professional in your corner and whoever is on the other side of that situation knows it. And here's the thing. All of this plus ID Shield for identity theft protection is $44.90 a month. That's it. Compare that to hiring a lawyer out of pocket, where just a consultation can run you 100 to 300 before anything actually gets done. Or compare it to just Googling it, which is free, but it also might completely be wrong for your state, your situation, or your specific circumstances, and you have no way of knowing. And if your legal matter goes beyond what the plan covers, Legal Shield either handles it directly or you can get a 25% discount on these services in any state and in Canada. So you're not just covered for the small stuff, you have somewhere to go no matter what comes up. That's what $44.90 gets you. Not a pamphlet, y'all. Not a hotline that puts you on hold. Actual legal access for the price of a few takeout meals. I want to talk to you about why this actually works. and why it actually works faster than what people expect. Because I think when most people hear legal plan, they picture paperwork and waiting rooms and months of back and forth. And sometimes legal situations do take time. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. But here's what changes immediately. And I mean the same day when you have Legal Shield. Your access changes. That's the mechanism. That's the thing that makes everything else possible. The moment you're a member, you have a provider law firm you can call, not someday, not after you saved enough to feel like you deserve help. Right now. Not now, but right now, as Coach Farbell says. And that access creates speed because most legal situations don't get better the longer you wait on them, they get worse. The person who calls a professional the same week something goes wrong almost ends up in a better position than the person who waited 3 months hoping it would resolve itself. Let me tell you what this looked like for me personally. My previous employer did not want to pay me. I had done the work. I had taken care of everything I was supposed to take care of, and they just didn't pay me. We're talking $2,000, which when you are a woman taking care of young children on the spectrum, that's not a small thing. That's not a, oh, well, lesson learned amount of money. That is rent. That is groceries. That is everything. Without Legal Shield, I know exactly what would have happened. I know exactly what would have happened. I would have sent a few frustrated messages, maybe filed a complaint somewhere, not know how to follow up. And eventually, I would have had to accept that I was not getting that money because I didn't have the tools to fight for it. With Legal Should I had somewhere to go, y'all. It still took about a month. I want to be real with you about that. It was not overnight, but I got paid. $2,000 of work I've already done for children I was already caring for. That money came back because I had access to people who knew how to make that happen. That's not a coincidence. That's not luck. That's what having backup looks like in real life. And here's what I want you to understand about the speed piece. It's not about always how fast the situation resolves. Sometimes it's about how fast your anxiety resolves. Knowing you have someone to call, knowing you don't have to figure it out, knowing there is a professional attached to the situation, that shifts happens immediately. The weight of it changes the same day you become a member. That matters, especially for women who are already carrying a lot. You don't have to figure out this legal nightmare by yourself to the list. Okay, we're already going through a lot. You call, they handle it, or they tell you what your options are so you can move forward with information instead of fear. That's why it works, and that's why it works fast. I want to talk about something that sits underneath everything I do because the reason I chose this company specifically, the reason I keep on showing up on these lives, the reason I'm still here 8 months later, it comes down to one thing. Everybody deserves options with backup. Not just people who grew up with money, okay? Not just people who knew the right words to say or had the right connections and happened to land a job with good benefits. Everybody. The woman at the register, the woman on the phone with difficult customers at hour 7 of her shift. The woman Googling, do I have any rights here at midnight because she doesn't know who else to ask. Everybody deserves options with backup. Here's what I mean when I say that. Options mean you have more than one path. It means when something goes wrong, and something always goes wrong eventually, you're not just stuck with whatever happens to you. You have somewhere to turn. You have a professional in your corner. You have access to information that helps you make a real decision instead of just a desperate one. And backup means you're not alone in it. That's the part that changes something deeper than just the legal situation. Because most women I talk to have been figuring things out alone a long time. Okay. Along with bills, along with scary letters, along with the situation that felt wrong. But they didn't know if they had any ground to stand on. Alone with the thing they signed, but didn't fully understand. Can I get an amen? I did a search for her, but anyway. Backup means that stops. It means there's a law firm attached to your name. It means when something comes at you, you don't have to absorb it by yourself and hope for the best. No other company combines legal access, identity protection, and a business opportunity at the price that a woman making $15 an hour can actually afford. That's not nothing. That is actually a whole thing. Because a legal plan, just if you go out there and get a legal plan that costs $400 a month is not options with backup for the woman I'm talking to. Okay. That's just another pill she cannot pay. This is $44.90. This is built for her. This is designed to close the gap for people who have always been told professional protection was for somebody else. That's the unique mechanism. That's the thing I can't stop talking about because I lived on the wrong side of that gap and I know exactly what it costs you. Not just financially, in your confidence, in your decisions, in how small you let yourself stay because you didn't feel like you had anything behind you. Everybody deserves options with backup. Not as a slogan, as a standard, as the thing we are actually out here building toward. That's what this is. That's what I'm inviting you to. Everybody deserves options with backup, and I mean everybody. I want to get really specific right now because this is not for everybody, and I'd rather just be honest than to waste your time. Okay, this is for a particular woman, and if this is you, you're gonna feel it. She's in her 20s, maybe 22 to maybe 27, maybe right at 29, starting to feel a quiet panic that her 20s are almost over and she's not where she thought she'd be by now. She's working. She's absolutely working. Customer service, retail, hospitality, a front desk somewhere, a call center, a register. She shows up. She's not lazy. That is not the problem and has never been the problem. The problem is she's doing everything right and it's still not enough. Her check comes in, and before she can even exhale, it's already gone. Rent, phone bill, car note, if she has one, groceries that somehow cost more every single month. Maybe she's sending a little something home to family because that's just what you do. And then it's gone. And she's got maybe a week and a half until the next one. And something always comes up in that week and a half. Something always comes up. She's tried budgeting. She's downloaded the app, y'all. She made a spreadsheet. She watched the YouTube videos about saving money and she implemented some of it and it helped a little, but it didn't fix the actual problem, which is that there is not enough coming in, no matter how carefully she manages what's already there. She maybe thought about a second job. Maybe she even did it for a while. Picked up extra shifts, delivered for an app on weekends, ran herself into the ground trying to close a gap that kept moving. And she stopped because she was exhausted and miserable, and she thought, this cannot be the only answer. Running myself into the dirt for the rest of my life cannot be the plan, period. But she has found the other answer. She has not found the other answer yet, okay? And that gap between knowing there has to be something else and not knowing what that something is, that's where she lives right now. That uncomfortable in between. Here's what she's afraid to admit out loud. She's afraid she's going to be here forever. Not this exact job, maybe, but this exact feeling. This exact amount of choices. This exact ceiling. She watches people online building things, traveling, talking about financial freedom, and she wants it. She genuinely wants it. But there's a voice in the back of her head that says that's for other people, people who started earlier, people who had help, people who weren't starting from this particular starting line. And she second guesses herself constantly, not because she's not smart. She is smart. She is sharp. She notices everything. But because nobody around her has done the thing that she's trying to do, she has no proof yet that she can. And so she waits and she scrolls and she watches and she almost signs up for something and then talks herself out of it. And then she wonders why she is always talks herself out of things. She's tired of being the most responsible person in the room and still feeling behind. She doesn't want to be rich in some abstract someday way. She wants to take her mom to dinner without checking her account first. She wants to handle a car problem without it being a crisis. She wants to say yes to the trip. She wants to feel like she has a little bit of breathing room. She wants peace that doesn't depend entirely on nothing going wrong. That's her. That's what I built this for. And if you're watching this right now and you have felt something in that description, no offense, not defensiveness, but recognition, then I'm talking to you. I see you. I have been you. And I want to show you what changed. Keep watching. Okay, so if you've been watching this whole live and something has been stirring in you, maybe you're thinking about the lemon juice story, maybe you're thinking about that $2,000 I almost never saw again, maybe you're thinking about the last time something went sideways and you had nobody to call. Here's exactly where I would tell you to start. One thing, just one. The legal and identity combo plan. $44.90 a month. That's it. That's where I send my best friend. That's where I send my sister. Start there. Here's what you're getting for $44.90. You already know about the unlimited phone consultations, the document review, the letters written on your behalf. That's the legal side. But the combo also includes legal ID Shield, identity theft protection that monitors your personal information and actually does something about it if something comes up. Because identity theft is one of those things that sounds like someday, maybe, problem right up into a right now crisis. And you have no idea where to start. Both of those things together, $44.90 a month. Now, I want you to think about that number for a second against the alternative. 1 hour with the private attorney. If you can ever figure out how to get one and get an appointment can run you from anywhere to $150 to $300 just for the hour, just to get started. $44.90 is not that. $44.90 is less than what most people spend on DoorDash in a week. And I say that with zero judgment because I have been that person too. This plan is specifically for the woman who is done being unprotected, who is tired of Googling and hoping, who wants to know that if something comes at her this month, a sketchy letter, a situation at work, a landlord pulling something, she has somewhere real to go. You don't have to have a legal situation right now to start. Honestly, the best time to get covered is before something happens. Because when something happens, you already want to have the number in your phone. Okay. Getting started is simple. The link is in my bio. When you click it, you pick your plan, you're a member. The provider law firm information comes to you and you are covered. That's the whole process. So if this is resonating, and I think it is, or you still wouldn't be here, don't overthink it. $44.90. Legal and identity combo. Link in my bio. Start there. You'll feel the difference in your peace of mind before the month is even out. I know what some of y'all are thinking right now. You're thinking, okay, but if I sign up and it's not what I expected, what if I don't use it right away? What if I'm not ready? Here's what I want you to know. You're not locked in. This is a month-to-month membership. You can cancel anytime. There is no contract holding you hostage, no penalty for leaving, no complicated process to get out. You try it, you see how it feels, and you decide that's it. But let me tell you about Eric real quick because this is important. Eric signed up, used his membership almost immediately. His landlord tried to sue him over a carpet stain he didn't even make, and that lawsuit. If Eric had been sitting there alone with no backup, no attorney, no one in his corner, that could have cost him $10,000. $10,000 over a carpet stain he did not make. Legal should have got him out of it. So when I tell you $44.90 a month with no long-term commitment, I need you to actually hear that, because Eric's situation didn't ask him if he was ready. It didn't wait until he saved up enough to fight back. It just showed up. And because he had coverage, he was ready anyway. That's what options with backup actually looks like when life gets real. Okay, try it for a month. See how your peace of mind shifts just knowing you have somewhere to call. And if it genuinely isn't for you, cancel. No hard feelings, no drama. But I think once you have it, you're going to wonder how you went this long without it. All right. We covered a lot today and I want to bring it home clean, okay? If you're ready to stop being unprotected, and if you're ready to stop Googling and hoping to figure it out alone, there's one place to start. The legal and the identity combo plan, $44.90 a month. No contract, cancel anytime, real attorneys, real backup, real peace of mind. If that's you, if something in this live hit different today, drop the word backup in the comments right now. Just that one word, backup. And I will get you exactly what you need to get started. If you have questions about the plan, about what it covers, about whether it makes sense for your specific situation, drop those in the comments too. I'm here. Let's talk about it. No question is too small, and nothing is a silly thing to ask. You are allowed to get information before you make a decision, and I will give it to you straight, okay? I started this live talking about standing at the register and swallowing something that should have been said, and everything I built then has been about making sure women like us have something standing behind us when life gets complicated, because it does get complicated for all of us. And you deserve it to face it with more than just hope. So I'll leave you with this. Everyone deserves options with backup. Not someday, now. Not now, but right now. Drop backup in the comments and let's get you covered. What the
That was
dog
close.
doing?
Is everybody all right? Come back again soon for another challenge.